Well, the great weather for the Rockies on this road trip continues as they've made their way to Cincinnati, Ohio, on the banks of the Ohio River. And you're looking at Great American Ballpark from the Kentucky side of the Ohio River over in Covington, Newport area. Rockies and Reds getting together for a three-game set tonight, tomorrow night, and Wednesday afternoon before the Rockies return home. They'll open up the three-game set with the Dodgers next weekend at Coors Field. Gerardo Parra is going to hit the leadoff spot. DJ LeMahieu's being given another day off with the tightness in his groin area. Talked to DJ before the ball game and said it is much better, just precautionary early in the season. So he played yesterday, sat out Saturday, and DJ will at least sit out the first portion of this game. Here's the Southwest batting order. You notice Parra, as we were talking about up top, and then it's Trevor Story, Cargo. Nolan Arenado, the hitting star yesterday. Ben Paulson will bat fifth at first base. Brandon Barnes is in center. Christian Adames will be at second base for DJ. Tony Walters again behind the plate. He's been terrific. The Rockies are unbeaten, in fact, when he starts, and Jordan Lyles is on the mound. And congratulations to Gerardo, his 1,000th career game. Dan Straley, the former Oakland A, who's been working out of the bullpen, will make a spot start here tonight.
Well, and he's getting the opportunity because Tim Melville, that's who was taking the spot of Anthony DeScalfini, who is the Rockies' Reds' best pitcher from last year, has gotten an opportunity because Tim didn't step up in his opportunity. So look forward to seeing what Dan can do.
Yeah, they have a number of injuries. Homer Bailey, who's the most noteworthy of their pitchers, been around the longest, is coming off elbow surgery. He won't be back probably till mid-May. So this is a team a year ago that set a major league record. The final 64 games of 2015 were all started by a rookie. That had never happened before in the history of the game. Over 100 starts last year by a rookie. So here's Straley, and the first pitch of the ball game's fouled back. Not overwhelming stuff. He's your prototypical sinker slider with a pretty good changeup.
Finished fourth in 2003 and 2013 for Rookie of the Year when he was with Oakland. Reminds me a little bit of Christian Bergman. Pitches very similar. Will use both sides of the plate.
And this is in the air to Duvall in left field, one out. Reds have struggled defensively so far this year. In fact, they're 30th in the early going among 30 teams in fielding percentage. Billy Hamilton is a good fielder. He's in center. Jay Bruce, the veteran, in right. Jordan Pacheco, our old friend, he's at third base. Zach Cozart, Brandon Phillips. Brandon owns a number of Gold Gloves. Joey Votto's terrific at first. And behind the plate, Tucker Barnhart. There's JP, your old teammate.
Good teammate. Good guy.
Tremendous guy. And he made the Reds as a minor league free agent out of spring training. And Story takes a strike. One out. Story had a base hit and also reached on a walk, stole a base yesterday, his first career stolen base. Whenever the Rockies get a chance to catch up with Jordan Pacheco, hugs all around. Jordan with Arizona last year.
We were teasing Jordan before the game. Every time you play a position, I've always said you have to be better than the guy on the other side of the field. So I told Jordan, I looked him in the eyes and I said, all you have to do today is be better than the third baseman on the Rockies side. He goes, how am I supposed to do that? Exactly.
That wasn't very nice of you. Jordan still brings a full assortment of gloves to the ballpark. He caught a couple of games during spring training. So if necessary, he could go behind there. They have two good ones in Barnhart and Devin Mesoraco. This ball is hit hard, but right at Brandon Phillips. He was shifted over there, and he gets Story by a step. Good contact. Nothing to show for it. Two gone, and that'll bring up Cargo.
Brandon Phillips, one of the true characters of baseball, has names for his different gloves. You want to hear some of the names?
Yeah.
Show Nuff is one of them. Sweet Lou, named after his mom, is another.
And he always plays just like that with a smile on his face. He's always having a good time.
Except Trevor Story does not have a smile on his face. He's wondering why Brandon was playing right up the middle right there.
So here's Cargo. He had his 11-game hitting streak this year, 21-game hitting streak overall. Longest of his career snapped yesterday in an 0 for 4 against the Cubs. He's always hit well in this ballpark, especially of late. Seven career home runs at Great American. Leading the National League in hits with 18. And he's got, oh, that's not right. Diving catch by Pacheco. Well, right now, Pacheco is making like Nolan Arenado, huh?
He's not his friend. And Jordan said something to Cargo as he runs by. He says, yep. That's not right.
That was not right. Make our way to the bottom of the first inning, and that's Zach Cozart. He's been outstanding so far this year. He's hitting all 8 games he's played in, a .483 average. Brian Price's Southwest batting order looks like the following. Jordan Pacheco will bat second, then Joey Votto, the perennial all-star. Brandon Phillips will bat cleanup. Jay Bruce, another guy who's familiar with all-star games. Adam Duvall, Tucker Barnhart 7. Dan Straley, the pitcher, is batting 8th, and then Billy Hamilton. Nolan's got to play in foul ground, and that's all for Cozart. One pitch, and he's dismissed.
I didn't even get to mention that Zach Cozart was on a streak where he's only swung and missed at 1 pitch the entire season.
That's something, isn't it?
Well, up until last week.
Numbers on Jordan Lyles. He has not pitched well his first couple of ball games. There's no other way to slice it. He actually, in his last outing, looked terrific for a couple of innings. And then the control went. So Jordan's pitched just 8 innings in 2 ball games. And you saw 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. So hopefully it's a new start to the season this evening in Cincinnati for Lyles.
And you're right, in the first 2 games, the first 2 innings, hitters are 1 for 13 with an .077 batting average. The innings after, .571.
And the stuff is good. I mean, you look at it, it's mid-90s with the fastball, and he's able at times really to hit spots, and then it seems to go awry. He's always going to pitch off his fastball. But 70% of the time, he's going to throw the heater. 0-2.
I think watching him, he's fallen in love with the cutter that he has been throwing more and more. I think when we first saw Jordan Lyles, he was primarily a sinker curveball pitcher. And when you're working with a new pitch, his strike percentage throwing these pitches now, they've all failed him. His changeup, he's throwing for a strike 30% of the time. Curveball is down to 35% of the time he's able to throw it for a strike. But the velocity's there, the stuff is there. If he can command the zone, he's going to be fine.
And this year, again, you saw the percentages for his fastball last year. This year, he's thrown his fastball 69+% of the time.
And it's a mile an hour faster than his average velocity from the years past.
2-2 on Pacheco, 11 career games against his former club. He's hit .320. And this is a bouncer to third. Nolan comes up with it, and there's 2 outs. With the gloves this evening, Parra is in left, Brandon Barnes in the middle, Cargo in right, Arenado, Storiadamas, and Paulson, Tony Walters. Been sensational behind the plate. And it bears repeating. When he starts, the Rockies are unbeaten. Nick Hundley doing much better, by the way, today. Worked out some, and hopefully he's on target to come off the 7-day disabled list when the Rockies return home. 7-day concussion list. Joey Votto off to a slow start, and he hits the first pitch in the air to Parra in left field. Gerardo's got it, and it's a great start for Jordan Lyles. He puts down the Reds 1-2-3 on 7 pitches. Nolan will lead it off when we come back.
Cincinnati, there's Jordan Pacheco, the former Rocky. I got a chance to ask him today if he thought that Nolan Arenado, who's leading off this half of the inning, would be as good as he is.
You're around him every day. You watch him play. You watch his movements, and you're with him in spring training, watching him as a young kid. And to say like, oh no, I didn't think he would do that. I knew he was going to be good. It was up to him to how good he's going to be, and still, how good can he be? I think he still can be better, and it's just fun to watch him play.
I like what he said, too, Drew and Spilly. I think he still can be better. We know what he did last year and the start that he's off to this year, but to hear that from Jordan, that's pretty high praise from a former teammate.
Yeah, great praise from a former teammate. I'll tell you something funny, and Spilly, you know this to be true. You're very close with Nolan. I was talking to him for a while this afternoon, and he's the co-National League Player of the Week. Hit 2 solo home runs yesterday. He had the huge day against the Giants, couple home runs, drove in 7. He said, he goes, I'm okay right now. He goes, but I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to locked in. And that's the beauty of Nolan, right? Anybody else would be like calling home saying, you can't believe how well I'm playing. But Nolan, and the guys who are great, Helton was this way. The guys who are great, they're never satisfied. They're always trying to get better.
And I believe him, too. I believe he's not completely locked in.
And there's a line drive, base hit to left. Nolan throws the bat over his head, and he has a leadoff single here in the 2nd inning.
It's always interesting when Nolan is spoiling pitches. The pitch before he spoils it, gets a pitch out over the plate. He's able to volley it over Jordan Pacheco, and he loves it. Watch as he throws the bat over his shoulders. I mean, he's getting close to locked in now, Drew. I think he's getting close.
Yeah, this is what I love about this graphic. 48 home runs since the beginning of 2015. For all those folks that may be peeking in nationally, 45 out on the road. Inside, ball 1 on Ben Paulson. So watch as he runs down the first base line. Watch Nolan here. He's watching to make sure that Pacheco doesn't steal a hit from him. Switches the bat to his left. Well, we'll show it again in a second. Straley's ready to go, and it's 2-0 on Ben Paulson. Ben's 5 for his last 12 at the plate.
For all the people in Colorado, the weather in Cincinnati is perfect.
3-0. Just rub it in. So here's Nolan. Is it a hit? Yep, it's a hit. Take it into my right hand and flip it over my head. I guess Joey Bats would like that.
Joey Bats, a lot of people like it. Some people don't.
Taken the whole way, 3-1. This ball down the left field line and foul. Hey, Rockies fans, join in on the conversation this season. Send us your thoughts, photos, and questions via your favorite social media platform. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll show some of those Toyota Talk comments throughout the ball game. 3-2 on Ben Paulson. Arenado takes off, and it's high, ball 4. So the Rockies put Arenado in motion to stay out of the double play, but now the Rockies have 2 men on, nobody out, and Brandon Barnes coming up.
Did Major League Baseball just tweet that Nolan is now becoming a showstopper? 4 years into his career, just figuring that out? Yeah, news to you, MLB. He's been good for a long time.
Sometimes, you know, it's like the Pony Express. It takes a while when you're out west for the rest of the country to get the word.
It's because we're on the East Coast.
If Barnes, he lays down a bunt here. Pacheco is even with the bag right now. Votto is behind Paulson, and get down, it will, in foul territory.
Well, here's a situational hitting that we're talking about with this Rockies team. On the road, you have to be able to move runners over, find ways to score runs when you're not hitting home runs. Rockies this year, .310 batting average with runners in scoring position.
That first marker is so important, isn't it, Spilly, on the road?
It just starts, it takes a lot of pressure off of Jordan Lyles. It takes pressure off the Rockies offense to feel like you're playing catch-up.
See if he's going to put another one down. Yeah, and that's a good bunt. Tell you what, if that gets past Straley, and Dan did a good job getting off the mound, that gets past Straley, it's going to be a hit. So a sac bunt by Brandon Barnes. That'll bring up Christian Adames.
That's great communication. You can hear it on the field. Luckily, there's not a ton of fans at the ballpark today, so the audio sounds amazing. You can hear how much guys have to communicate during a game, allowing the pitcher to know that Joey Votto is going to cover first and for him to get the ball.
Big at bat for Christian Adames. Get it in play at bat. Adames looking for his first ribby of the season. Infield's back, and that's inside, ball 1. Arenado at third, Paulson at second. So far, Christian 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position on the young season. Infield straight up, outfield straight up for the switch hitting Adames, who has occasional power. He had 3 home runs during spring training, and he's getting stronger.
He is getting stronger. Straley in this situation is looking for a strikeout. He will start using his slider more often. That's a pitch that batters are hitting only 91 off of it.
Okay, Christian playing second base this evening for DJ. DJ is being given another day off, so it's 2 out of the last 3 to make sure that groin injury doesn't get aggravated anymore. Adames 29 minor league home runs, but 11 came last year in AAA Albuquerque. And this is a ground ball up the middle, and it'll get a run home. So Adames has his first RBI of the season, 2 outs, as Nolan scores and Ben Paulson goes to third, but that's what the situation called for.
You just have to put the ball in play up the middle past the pitcher and you get a run scored. Rockies are 5-2 this season when they're scoring first.
Now Tony Walters. Boy, it's been fun to watch. Given the Rockies good at bats, and his defense behind the plate has been outstanding. He takes a strike. Home plate umpire is Jim Wolf, brother of Randy Wolf. Adrian Johnson at first, Gary Cederstrom is second, and Eric Cooper at third. Cederstrom, the crew chief.
Jim's brother, Randy Wolf, they've asked him before because he's not allowed to umpire if Randy's pitching. And
well, he's not allowed to be behind the plate.
Exactly, he's not allowed to be behind the plate. And they've asked him, hey, would you give him a bigger zone if he's behind the plate? And he goes, no, I wouldn't give him a bigger zone. It'd be a way tighter zone. He wants to see his brother get hit all over the yard.
Yeah, that would be awkward. 1-1 to Walters. And he pulls his foul. Yeah, to say Great American Ballpark is quiet tonight, I think would be somewhat of an understatement. It's a beautiful night. Cannot stress that more, but there's not a ton of folks here. School's still in session. A little tougher to draw this time of year, and the Reds are coming off a disappointing season. Still got some guys that you want to go see when you talk about a Votto and a Phillips and a Bruce.
Watch Billy Hamilton run.
Well, for Billy Hamilton to run, he has to get on base first, and that has been a problem for Billy.
Still see him chase baseballs from the Rockies hitters, hitting it over in the outfield.
There's the kid from Collins, Mississippi. Stole like 6,000 bases in the minor leagues. Actually, just under 400. 2 100-plus bag seasons in the minors. How about that?
That's amazing.
Walters waits and fouls this one off out of play.
The Reds pitchers on the road this year have a 7.35 ERA, at home 2.67.
It's the largest differential in Major League Baseball. Road to home. Rockies have been really good with runners in scoring position, as you see. This ball pulled sharply, but right at Joey Votto. He'll run to the bag. Rockies get a run. Leadoff base hit by Nolan, a walk behind that, and then the RBI ground out by Christian Adames. 1-0 Colorado, middle of 2. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Bank of the West. For a personal approach to banking, go West, Bank of the West. By your hometown Toyota stores, Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Rockies have the 1-0 advantage with Ryan Spilborghs and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Dougie's back. Oh, he's vacationing last weekend, allegedly. No, actually, he was working allegedly. We're not sure if he was vacationing or not. Brandon Phillips will lead things off. 294 for Brandon a year ago, 12 home runs, 70 driven in. He's hitting 297 in the early going this year. And that fastball darts inside, ball one. And Brandon out in front, bounces this one foul. Phillips, the longtime Red, was actually drafted in 1999 by the Montreal Expos and then was traded for Bartolo Colon to Cleveland. And he was struggling with Cleveland, and they basically gave up on Brandon and traded him to Cincinnati in one of the most lopsided deals in the last 20 years. That's inside, because Brandon has gone on to be a 3-time All-Star. He's won Gold Gloves. He's hit 30 home runs in a season. He's driven in 100. He's been a tremendous player. Here's the 2-1, and Phillips hits this in the air to Cargo. Easy play.
Well, you can say
he was acquired very quickly for a right-handed pitcher by the name of Jeff Stevens, who, with all due respect to Jeff, did not have much of a major league career. And Brandon Phillips has been one of the best second basemen for the last decade in the sport.
I think if you just look at Brandon Phillips' his whole career, even the trade from Montreal for Bartolo, look at who Cleveland got in return for Bartolo Colon. Lee Stevens, a guy named Cliff Lee.
Yeah.
Brandon Phillips, Grady Sizemore.
A ton of talent. Yeah. The other Stevens only played 33 big league games.
Jeff Stevens.
Jeff Stevens.
Yeah. He was supposed to be a great closer. Never panned out.
Jay Bruce off to a good start. He's going to look at that pitch outside. It's 2-1. Jay really using the whole ballpark. And Jay's a good friend of yours. And at times he's gotten pull happy. He's a big power guy. So far this year, he's been spraying the ball around. Rockies do have the shift on, and he fouls that pitch off. 2-2.
I think an interesting stat as I was looking up what he's done this year, he's hitting 143 on balls down in the zone. Anything up, anything middle and up, he is demolishing, but anything down in the zone, he's not handling at all.
2-2. That's strike 3 on the inside corner. Pain. As Jay Bruce has something to say to Jim Wolf, he's not happy. That's the first strikeout for Jordan Lyles. Let's take a look at our Office Liquidators series storylines. Rockies take 2 of 3 in Chicago, and their starters against the Cubs had a 1 ERA. That will work. And 17-11 since 2007 here in Cincinnati. The Rockies, check this out, have hit 23 home runs. That leads the National League. The Reds staff has allowed 20 home runs. So that combination right there looks inviting for Colorado's hitters.
Especially this ballpark. This ballpark plays very small. We used to call this the Great American Small Park.
Adam Duvall's got a lot of power, and he hits this on 2 hops to Trevor Story. And it's 3 up and 3 down again for Jordan Lyles. He's off to a nice start. First inning, 7 pitches. Second inning, 10 pitches. 1-0 Rockies. 1-0. And leading it off for the Rockies, Jordan Lyles. Take a look at our Taco Bell read here. If the Rockies score 7 runs or more during a game, you know the drill. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Well, Jordan Lyles is a good athlete. He's capable offensively. And he'll be facing a guy who's not overwhelming in Dan Straley to lead off here in the 3rd. And that fastball in the outside corner at 89. Key for Jordan, as we talked about at the top of the show, is he has to be able to sustain what he has started. We've seen 2 good innings in a couple other starts this year for Jordan out of the gate. And you think, okay, man, he's really got his A material, and then somehow it disappears.
Well, that last start against the San Francisco Giants, he was 1 out away from being able to get a win, and Walt refused. It's one of those things where he did not want to have to take Jordan Lyles out of the game, and as he takes strike 3. But as Brandon Belt was coming up, it was in a matchup that he felt comfortable with Jordan facing him and had to pull him out.
Yeah, and Walt said as much after the game. Managers hate to take a guy out with a decent lead, and all you need is 1 out to get a W.
He had 65 pitches at that point, but had completely lost control of his fastball.
But you are beholden to the other 24 guys first and foremost.
Exactly. Well, and that's how you're supposed to do it.
So here's Gerardo. He hit a fly ball to left his first time, and he takes a strike. Parr has hit in the leadoff spot many times in his career. Probably about 20% of the time in his career he's hit in the leadoff spot. And this little tapper back to Straley, 2 outs.
It's already 5 ground ball outs for Straley, being very efficient with his pitches.
Trevor Story hit the ball very sharply his first time up on 1 hop up the middle, which ordinarily would be a base hit, except Brandon Phillips is positioned right up the middle for Trevor Story. Do you realize that last year we saw more shifts than we'd ever seen before? The Rockies went from a team that didn't shift much to one of the leaders in the National League in shifting. Well, overall this year, in the same number of games, this is baseball wide, there have been twice as many shifts already than a year ago at this time.
Aggregate total number of shifts last year, it's already doubled right now.
No, not for the whole season.
Okay,
at this juncture.
At this juncture. Oh,
you know,
my goodness.
through roughly a dozen games or so.
Wow.
2-0 on Story. And Jay Bruce, when you and I were conversing with him, everybody's asked about Nolan, but Jay Bruce naturally wanted to know a little bit more about Trevor Story.
And we told him what we like about him. Hard worker.
A lot to like.
A lot to like. Yesterday, the Rockies, if he doesn't field the ball clean with Dexter Fowler in the 9th inning, hard hit shot to his left, 1 hop, spun, throw, completely different game. Jason Hayward hits a double down the right field line that probably scores Dexter. 2-1 game, nobody out.
Yeah, who knows what would have happened. Story drives this with authority deep center, and leaping and can't make the catch is Hamilton. He goes down. Story will stop at second, and that gives you and everybody else, including Jay Bruce, an idea how strong he is. Because Billy Hamilton is a Gold Glove caliber center fielder, and that thing stayed hit so long that Hamilton couldn't even catch it.
When you strike a ball like Trevor Story, you're hitting the ball with a lot of backspin, and for a center fielder, the hardest ball to catch is a line drive right at him. He's expecting typical ball flight for him to be able to catch that nice and easy. But as it gets closer and closer, he realizes the backspin on the ball is going to carry over his head.
You know, the flight of that baseball, it reminds you of balls that the guy who's at the plate now hits, where outfielders think I got it, and they realize, no, I don't. It's over my head, maybe even out of the ballpark. So here's Cargo with 2 outs and an RBI out there. The Rockies have been very good in these situations so far this year. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, they're hitting .318, 5th best in baseball. Cargo was robbed of a hit his first time up on a diving catch by Jordan Pacheco. Pacheco again is the only guy on the left side of the infield. One ball, one strike.
Barnhart won 4 consecutive defensive award for a catcher in the Reds organization from 2011 2014.
They have 2 good receivers.
Very good receivers.
Really good offensive player in particular. And Cargo out front, and it's 1-2.
Cargo 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position, 455 batting average. I'd like to be able to mark the 2-out RBI right here on my scorecard.
Cargo hits it sharply, but it's at Phillips. And he'll get Carlos at first. Trevor Story, who doubled, is left at second base. 1-0, middle of 3 in Cincinnati. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Tucker Barnhart will lead things off for the Reds. 7, 8, 9. Lyles has retired the Reds on 17 pitches. 6 up, 6 set down through the first 2 innings, and he drops a curveball in the lap of Tucker Barnhart. It's 0-1. Dan Straley, the pitcher, is hitting in the 8th spot for Brian Price, and that's a base hit to left. So Barnhart aboard, which means Straley will be bunting in all likelihood. Straley again, his first 3 outings working out of the pen, so thusly he has only 1 at bat.
Barnhart had a crazy week leading up into opening day. Began the week in Houston and Florida, where he was traded to the San Diego Padres for Eric Kratz, the catcher. And 3 days later, Friday, he travels to San Diego, gets put on waivers, and the Reds pick him up. He travels Saturday to Cincinnati. He's not sure if he's going to make the opening day roster. They tell him early in the morning that he made it and asked him to trim his beard. He made the opening day roster.
And he said gladly.
Gladly. Over 5,000 miles of travel in 1 week.
And he did that gladly also. 1-2, and Straley pulled the bunt back. Straley's twice been involved in significant trades that also involved former Rockies. In July of 2014, he was traded by Oakland along with Addison Russell, Billy McKinnon for Jason Hamill and Jeff Samardzija. Then last year, that just missed. He was traded by the Cubs with Luis Valbuena, or actually January of last year, I should say, for Dexter Fowler. Dexter with Houston at the time. 2-2 on Straley. And now it's 3-2. Again, Jordan trying to be a little bit too fine. All the pressure's on Straley. He's already fouled off 2 bunt attempts, and then you miss on your next 3. And that's a foul ball and a strikeout. So 1 out as Straley fails to move Barnhart. And now the attention for Jordan Lyles will turn to Billy Hamilton. You may be wondering, saying, man, this is the fastest guy in the game. Why is he batting 9th? He has really struggled to hit, and it's primarily he struggles to hit from the left side. He's not a natural left-handed hitter. They put the bat in his hand left-handed about 5 years ago when he was in the minor leagues, and he hits the ball, quite frankly, in the air too much.
Way too much. And part of the reason why is your dominant arm for Billy Hamilton's his right arm. The left arm isn't strong enough to be able to get on top of the baseball and drive it into the ground, which he would be 1,000 times better player if he could hit the ball on the ground.
And the other thing, you'd like to see him, bunt quite a bit naturally with the speed he has, but he hasn't been real successful doing that either. Does not have a bunt hit yet this year. He tries right there, and at least he showed bunt. It's 1-1. Nolan, even with 2 strikes, Nolan's on the grass. Even with 2 strikes, Billy Hamilton, though he's not nearly as accomplished an offensive player as Dee Gordon, but will attempt to bunt with 2 strikes. Dee does it quite a bit. One and one right now. Barnhart takes off, and it's a hit and run. And Hamilton is out at first. 2 outs, so Barnhart in scoring position for the hottest hitter in the Reds lineup, Zach Cozart. If that was hit a smidgen harder, even with Barnhart running, the Rockies still may have had a chance to turn 2, but it was kind of a jam shot.
He flies down that line. You have to get it from around the horn in less than 3.8 seconds. He averages 3.8 seconds from the left side from home to first. And on bunts, he's been clocked down as fast as 3.3 seconds, which is unheard of.
Cozart fouled out to third his first time up. Well, at the very least, you would have gotten the lead runner. How about that?
You get the lead runner, but then you have him on base, and you're pretty sure he's going to steal second. So I'd rather have Barnhart at second versus Billy Hamilton at second.
And this is a ground ball to short. Nice pickup by Story, and that's all in the 3rd for Cincinnati. So leadoff hit by Barnhart. Nice job of pitching after that by Jordan Lyles. go to the top of the 4th inning. There were a couple of them yesterday off the bat of Nolan Arenado. 2 solo home runs as the Rockies shut out the Cubs 2-0. 7 outstanding innings yesterday from Tyler Chatwood, and also the save in the 9th inning from Jake McGee, his 3rd. Let's not forget the 8th inning, though. Miguel Castro, quick and efficient, a 1-2-3 8th inning, getting a hold. So in the 4th inning, Nolan will lead it off, and then Ben Paulson and Brandon Barnes. How about this for Nolan so far this year? He has 6 home runs. His 2nd in the league to his buddy Trevor Story. He has struck out only 3 times. He scored on an RBI ground out in the 2nd inning after leading the inning off with a single.
Well, the only person that has a better strikeout rate is Zach Cozart. And Zach Cozart has struck out 1 time, and that was looking.
Cozart's toughest guy to strike out so far in the National League, and Nolan is the 2nd toughest. That ball is gone. If it's fair, it is a foul ball. And the difference between Arenado and Cozart is Cozart a couple years ago hit some home runs. You know, I think he hit a dozen home runs. He's not going to hit a ton of home runs. Nolan hit 42 home runs. Home run guys usually strike out.
Just look at Chris Davis. It's a guy that's striking out 150 times a year.
You know, the minute we mention that, he gets rung up on a pitch that looked down.
Nolan's not happy with this pitch as it runs back over the plate, hits the corner on the Subaru strike zone. It's a well-located fastball. He doesn't like Jim Wolf's call.
Ben Paulson walked his first time, and he takes a strike. Paulson has 3 at-bats against Straley, coming in with a knock. That was against him last year when he pitched for Oakland. Two and one. Paulson's a career .346 hitter against Cincinnati in his young career, including a couple of home runs.
Good mix of pitches so far for Straley. Hitters were hitting only 107 coming into the game. Granted, he was coming out of the bullpen. But we haven't seen a lot of good, healthy swings against Straley so far.
Pretty good pass right there. 2 and 2. Did you ever do that?
Fouling off?
Well, I know you fouled some off. Did you then smell the barrel of the bat after?
You can smell burnt leather. It smells burnt.
Really?
Yep. That question Ted Williams would ask many really good hitters. What do you smell on a foul ball? I don't know if it's the burnt leather, it's the burnt smell of the wood off the bat, but there's a burning smell if you foul a ball straight back.
3-2. And that's a called strike 3.
Calling all college students, College Night at the Ballpark is this Friday, April 22nd. Packages include a game ticket and a Rockies knit beanie. Visit rockies.com/college for tickets.
Here's Brandon Barnes. He had a sac bunt his first time up, moved the runners to 2nd and 3rd, which set the at bat up for Christian Adames to get an RBI. 1-0 Colorado. How about the Rockies? First 4 series of the year, Spilly. the Rockies, it's all about winning series. The Rockies won 3 of the 4 series, and the one series they didn't win was against the Padres, a team not expected to have a great season. The other 3 teams are all expected to be pretty strong. Arizona made a lot of changes, we all know, in the offseason, and the Giants and the Chicago Cubs.
Well, in the one series that they had against the Padres, they were in the games kind of, but it was the starting pitching. It all separates when the starting pitching pitches well. The Rockies have a chance because of their offense and their defense. They'll keep you in the game.
Dan Straley, kind of like Christian Bergman the other day, you wonder how deep he can go because he's been working again out of the pen, so he's not stretched out like a starter. I'm sure Brian Price would be thrilled if he gives him 5 innings. He struck out the side. In the 4th, Arenado looking, Paulson looking, Barnes swinging. 1-0 Rockies. I don't know, and I'm surprised Mark didn't bid on that. How many jerseys does Stout have now?
I have 3 from last year. That's it. It's no big deal.
Seems like you have more than that. This ball's pulled foul.
Nah, it's just 3.
That's a nice play by the guy with BB on the back of his jersey.
I don't know what BB means.
Mark, you gonna get that jersey?
I think I have a BB jersey because I know what it means.
Jersey?
Bat boy, ball boy.
What is it?
Either or for us that don't play the games, Billy. So we're happy to have a jersey.
Inside on Pacheco, 2-1.
Hey, I don't even know how you get the smell of burnt wood when you foul a ball off.
What was the highest number jersey you had?
72. 97 in 2003 spring training. 97 was my highest.
3-1 on Pacheco. Hit a ground ball to third his first time up. Jordan, you may recall back in 2012 with the Rockies, hit 309, and he qualified. He had over 500 at bats for the batting title. That was 5th best average in the National League in 2012. Last year, 242 in 29 games with Arizona. On the outside corner, it's 3-2. He was up with Arizona for a small period of time. He was in Reno a good portion of last year, AAA affiliate of the D-backs. Here's the 3-2. And the slider's on the ground to short. Story gets rid of it quickly. Let's go downstairs and have an official check-in with Mark Stout. Mark, welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to be here. Spilly, you're talking about starting pitching, and you were talking about first pitch strikes at the start of the game. That's what the Rockies starters did over the weekend in Chicago, because it went 74% for Bergman in the middle, 70% for Bettis, and then 54% yesterday for Chatwood. But he had great stuff. So far, Lyles, 8 of 11 first pitch strikes. Steve Foster said it's no secret. You get the first pitch over, you get a strike, then you can dictate the AB. It's that easy, right?
Yeah, well, listen, Mark, I'm glad you brought this up, because so far this year, the Rockies' first pitch strike percentage is just under 61%, which is good for 14th in Major League Baseball, basically middle of the road. However, what a large improvement from a year ago so far, when they finished 29th in baseball at 59%.
Only the Reds were worse. That's it in baseball last year.
Here's something else. As Joey Votto's at the plate, pick up on what Mark's talking about. Just a little bit high on Votto, who has one of the best eyes in the game, 2-1. The overall strike percentage for the Rockies right now is 63.6%, which is 14th, also in Major League Baseball. Last year, they were dead last at 62%. That's in there, 2-2. How about Joey Votto? Career on-base percentage of .422, which would be 17th all time. His hero, a guy that anybody who loves to hit the baseball has always looked up to, the late and great Ted Williams, had a career on-base percentage of .482, or basically he was on base half the time. That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Well, pay attention to how Joey Votto's holding the bat right now. This is his two-strike approach. You can see how much he chokes up. That allows him to control the barrel.
To Barnes in center. 2 outs, nobody on for Brandon Phillips, who hit a fly ball to Cargo his first time up.
Well, going back to your Ted Williams story, Joey Votto has read every single Ted Williams book available. And another guy similar to Chris Bryant, we were talking about the uppercut. Joey Votto firmly believes in having a slight uppercut.
Now, would you advise that, Spilly, to a hitter that is not going to hit many, like a Billy Hamilton, for instance? Would you tell Billy Hamilton, hey, Ted Williams said slight uppercut? This is on the ground, 2 hops to Story, and Jordan Lyles safely navigates the 4th inning, again very efficiently as well.
You have to know what you are, Drew. I would say no.
Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Wells Fargo, customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. By the Lodge Casino, pitching up a perfect game for cash every Friday and Saturday. Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. And by GMC. Christian Adames is in the box in the top of the 5th inning, ready to go on a gorgeous Cincinnati evening. And Dan Straley throws the fastball down the middle. It's 0-1. Christian Adames with a ground ball to short, runners at second and third and 1 out. Got the Rockies the only run of the ball game. That was in the 2nd. Trying to be a table setter here. Tony Walters behind him. Phil, you were talking we were talking at the end of the last half inning about the uppercut that was utilized by Ted Williams, and he wrote so many things on the art of hitting. And I asked you, with Billy Hamilton, a player like that, would you also advise him to do that? And quickly you said, no, I wouldn't. So it's not necessarily for every type of player. It's for guys that have the ability to hit home runs.
I think when you look at it, I think a slight uppercut, every ball player should have a slight uppercut in their swing.
Is that to get on plane?
It's just to keep the bat on plane, because the ball is coming down from the mound to the catcher's glove. Gravity's taking it, it's pulling it down. So a slight uppercut is smart. And the bigger, I mean, you look at it, you hit the ball in the air, you hit the ball hard, typically that's a home run, and especially if you have the strength. Michael Kadire always talked about having an uppercut. But for certain guys, like Billy Hamilton, playing a swing that was way more on plane would make him so much more efficient. He can't afford to pop a ball up in the air. And even though he did hit 1 home run this year, and it was the fastest clocked in the major leagues, it was 16 seconds. He ran it around in Chicago. That's not an everyday occurrence for him.
No, I remember when the Rockies had Nafy Perez, and Nafy was a really good player, and Nafy would hit an occasional home run, but Don Baylor always felt like, man, that's the worst thing in the world for Nafy, because now all of a sudden he's going to hit the ball in the air too much, and they wanted him to hit the ball on the ground. Here's the 3-2 again, and that's fouled off. Good at bat going here for Adames.
Because here's what happens. If you swing down, Drew, by swinging down, it doesn't make your bat plane longer through the zone. You're actually taking your bat path in and out of the zone a lot faster. A slight uppercut allows that bat to stay on plane a little bit longer, but you have to find a happy medium for Billy Hamilton.
Strong at bat, and Adames works out the walk.
All fans through the gates this Saturday, April 23rd, will receive a monthly wall calendar, courtesy of us here at Root Sports.
So here's Tony Walters, who's hit all 4 of his starts. The team is 4-0 when he starts. First at bat, he hit a sharp ground ball right at Joey Votto. Adames not a flyer at first, average speed. He takes off, hit and runs on, and this throw's going to get Adames by a bunch. Perfect throw by Tucker Barnhart.
Well, it helps out every time that the fastball is up and away in a spot where Tony Walters isn't able to foul it off. That is a purpose pitch by Straley as he threw it up in the zone, knowing that Walters wouldn't be able to hit that baseball.
It was almost as if they anticipated it. Walters hits this a long way to right center field. Billy Hamilton back on the track. and makes the catch. 2 outs. Two outs, and Jordan Lyles.
57 pitches for Straley was his season high. He was stretched out during spring training with the Houston Astros. They had him viewed as a starting pitcher. So I believe he can go well over 75 pitches tonight.
This is number 72 inside on Lyles, who he struck out in the 3rd. Two and 0. Two balls and a strike on Lyles.
That's a good tempo by Straley. Grab the ball, turn around, and throw.
Center field, pretty well hit. Hamilton going back makes the catch. So Adames led off with a walk, but he was cut down on a hit and run. 1-0 Colorado. Gray, 2 rehab starts for John Gray. He's back with the club, but nothing has been announced as of yet. In fact, Walt Weiss before the ball game saying that he wants to take a look at a couple of his side sessions before they determine if his next start will be made at the big league level or if he needs one more rehab assignment. And here's some video of Gray working out before the ball game. His numbers, for what it's worth in Modesto, were very good. He's itching to go, which is understandable.
His last start in Modesto, he threw 77 pitches, 4 innings of work, 8 punchies.
Rockies put the shift on. Jay Bruce will lead it off in the 5th inning. The dangerous Jay Bruce, 26 home runs last year. He's hit 211 career home runs. All with the Cincinnati Reds. Former #1 pick, 12th overall in 2005. First pitch misses high, ball 1. That's in there, 1-1. All-time home run list for the Reds. Johnny Bench, #1, and the great Frank Robinson, Tony Perez, Adam Dunn, Big Clue, Foster. Jay Bruce out of Beaumont, Texas. And then the kid. That Junior's going to go in to the Hall of Fame this summer with a Mariners cap on. And this ball's lifted deep left center field. Barnes going back, still going back, and it's off the wall. And then it kicks around. Bruce running pretty well for a big man. Throw on its way. Out at third base. Wow. Out at third base. Gerardo Parra with the throw.
Wow.
And he just looked on the video board to see. Gerardo did. You saw the video of him looking at it to see if in fact he was out. Look at this. That's a hose. Jim Wolf with the call. And it's one, they're going to look at it, but it's one of those deals where watch his
look at
front
Nolan's
leg.
pick.
Yeah, you almost overlooked the pick, but you're right. That was it.
Oh man, that is close.
Now the lead leg is high. Watch the bottom leg tag.
Oh, he got him.
He got him. He's out.
Wow, Nolan. That is such a good throw by Parra, but for Nolan to set his feet, take the short hop, spin, turn, tag Jay Bruce on the knee before he got there.
Also, if you're wondering why is that Jim Wolf's call, he's the home plate umpire, there's a rotation. The second base umpire's got to go out on the ball to see if it goes out of the ballpark. Third base umpire rotates to second, and the home plate umpire rotates, and Adrian Johnson is at first. If there was going to be a play at the plate, he rotates to the plate.
They're about to make the call. I don't think it can get overturned.
Jerry Cedarstrom, he's out. How large is that in a 1-0 game?
It's huge, and even getting there are rules in baseball. Don't make the first or last out at third base. It's almost a cardinal sin, but it took as good of a play as you're going to see from an outfield to a third baseman with the short pick that Nolan was able to make the spin and throw a spin and tag. You can see on Subaru Supermo. The athletic ability of Nolan at third base is incredible. Nobody's even close to making that play in baseball. Nobody's close to that.
And a great call, watching it live, by Jim Wolf, because his feet actually arrived at the bag before the ball did, but because one was above the bag and his back leg naturally was bent, the tag was applied before he made contact with it. 74 outfield assists now since 2009 with a two-time Gold Glover, Gerardo Parra. And that fastball's in. It's 1-1 now on a guy with big power, Adam Duvall. Former San Francisco Giants draft pick in 2011. 2010, I should say. He was drafted in the 11th round. And a line shot to Nolan. 2 outs. Don't want to hit it there.
Everything in baseball has a percentage. The stats show you what it is. With Gerardo Parra being able to cut down Jay Bruce at third base, 87.5% of the time a leadoff triple scores a run. Parra's able to get it, he barehands it, sets his feet, and that arm right there. Again, pay attention to Nolan and how quick of a turn that is. He loves pointing and say, "Don't run on me."
Tucker Barnhart, and that was a good pitch. Slider, and it's 0-1. Barnhart lined a single to left his first time up. One of 2 hits for Cincinnati. The Rockies have only 2 hits. That's there also. 0-2. 2 outs in the 5th inning. Only 53 pitches for Lyles. Curveball is low. Caleb Cotham is throwing in the Cincinnati pen. And you don't know if that's to come in right now. If Straley were to come up, certainly think that's a possibility. If he does not come up this inning,
well, they have
Straley go back out.
They have Scott Schebler on the on-deck circle. Part of the reason why coaches will send out a position player to the on-deck circle to show that maybe you pitch to Barnhart.
Well, we were speculating throughout the broadcast that Straley was stretched out in spring training, but that that's still 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and to a starting pitcher it makes a difference. So he's probably going to be in that 75 pitch range, which he's already entered. 3-2. See you later. On the inside corner, beautiful two-seamer by Lyles, and for Jordan, that's his third strikeout of the ball game. He's been terrific. With a little help from Gerardo Parra, Cincinnati is kept off the scoreboard. It's 1-0 Rockies. Ball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Welcome back to the Queen City. The Rockies leading the Reds 1-0. We're motoring along tonight, already to the top of the 6th inning. Just a couple of hits for each club. And leading things off for the Rockies, the top of the order represented by the guy who just threw out Jay Bruce, trying to stretch a double into a triple, Gerardo Parra. Parra fly ball to left and a comebacker, and he's going to see a new arm. It's Caleb Cotham out of Vanderbilt University. He was one of the guys acquired from the Yankees in the Aroldis Chapman deal.
Good fastball, slider, and a curveball. What's interesting, he's only thrown 29% first pitch strikes this year. Has not allowed a run yet. Interesting, 2 times he's had inherited runners. None of them have scored. He's pitched very, very well out of the bullpen.
Got in 12 games last year with the Yankees. 6.52 ERA. 20 games last year in AAA Scranton with New York. He had a 1.74 ERA. So here we go in the top of the 6th, top of the order for the Rockies, and Parra swings and misses. Boy, this game tonight has the feel of yesterday afternoon in Chicago, does it not?
It does. So every little baseball play matters tonight.
And another comebacker. Here's our Kubota pitching performance from yesterday. We have to acknowledge what Tyler Chatwood did again. He had no-hit stuff. In fact, he was perfect with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Look at that line. 7 innings of shutout baseball, just 2 hits, just 3 base runners. And also 7 strikeouts. Brilliant work by Tyler Chatwood. The Rockies now have 2 of their 4 starting pitchers, 3 starts in, who have sub-3 ERAs. Got a little present from Cargo there. A little kiss on the cheek. He was so good. But right now, Chatwood's below a 3. Bettis is below a 3. Here's Trevor Story. He doubled to center field his last time up. Chatwood, a 2.79 ERA, good for 8th right now among starters who have thrown at least 3 games in the National League. 1-1 on Story. The other thing about the starting pitchers against the Cubs, 18 punch outs, just 5 walks. Close to a 4-to-1 ratio.
.77 whip since last week from the starting pitching. And that'll win you some ball games. That's walks and hits per innings pitched.
Good pitch by Cotham right on that outer edge. Good pitcher's pitch as you look at the Subaru strike zone. 1-2. Cargo on deck. And he got him with something spinning away.
Trevor Story so far has not been able to show that he can handle the ball away from him, especially down and away. He has a 0 batting average in over 20 at bats where he's swinging at that pitch.
2 outs, nobody on. Cargo's hit the ball hard twice. He was robbed of a base hit on a diving catch by Jordan Pacheco, the lone fielder on the left side in the 1st inning. And in the 3rd, with Trevor Story on 2nd, he smoked a ground ball, but it was right at the rover, Brandon Phillips.
The rover?
That's what Dougie calls him.
How do you score that? The 4R?
That's right, R-3.
R3.
The rover through to 1st. 0-1 on Cargo, who is off to a fabulous start, and at least the last couple of years has gotten off to very slow starts in April. Held up. I guess not. According to Eric Cooper, he went around. Slowly hit to Pacheco, and it goes under his glove. See if they give Cargo a hit on that. It's kind of a do or die play. I don't know if he's going to throw him out anyhow.
This is why hitting with 2 strikes is so important, to just put the ball in play. 2-strike, curveball away, and Jordan Pacheco gets charged with the E5. Comes up, he has to look up just to see if where Cargo is, and a little head movement.
So Nolan gets an opportunity here.
Well, in a game like this, the opportunities like this, you have to take advantage of.
I think that's a tough error because, again, Pacheco's a little out of where he normally would play. I get it. As a third baseman, too, you come and get a baseball, but it's still a do or die play. There's no guarantee if he fields that cleanly, throws it perfectly, with a guy who runs pretty well on the left side of the box, he's going to get him out. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Yesterday, Nolan Arenado hit 2 solo home runs as the Rockies defeated the Cubs 2-0. First time in club history that a player had 2 solo home runs to account for all the runs in a 2-0 game.
This is not a stealing situation for me with Nolan Arenado at the plate. Carlos Gonzalez at first. He's in scoring position at this point right now at being at first base. You do have Ben Paulson on deck. Gives you a nice righty-lefty matchup, but talking about the co-player of the week in the National League. And arguably one of the best right-handed hitters in baseball right now.
Absolutely. You want him to swing the bat here regardless. And he took a massive cut.
Okay, now with 2 strikes, I'm okay with it. If you get thrown out at second base, all right, Nolan gets to lead off the inning.
Plus, you're in a breaking ball count, which aids the runner at first a little bit if you do take off. Home run leaders in the league. Story 7, then Nolan tied with Bryce Harper, and then Cargo. So 3 of the top 4. There's 2 pretty good players right there visiting.
Well, by stealing right here, even if you get picked off, Cawthon's not leading off next inning. He's not hitting. They're going to use a pinch hitter, so Nolan would get another pitcher to face.
Cargo not going, and a base hit the other way because Phillips was on the left side. Cargo will go first to third. So Nolan with his second hit of the evening, and that'll bring up Ben Paulson.
We've seen 2 straight at bats where Rockies hitters with 2 strikes are putting the ball in play. Brandon Phillips is playing directly behind second base, putting the ball in play to the right side of the field. Normally, in the normal shift, that's a 4-3. Good curveball down and away. Not many guys even make contact with that. Nolan's able to punch it into right field.
Mark Riggins, the pitching coach, is out. The clock is about to expire, which is why Jim Wolf is wandering to the mound. 30-second meeting clock.
I think 30 seconds is plenty. I've been watching it all season long. Just forces the pitching coach to run out there.
Paulson a walk in the second, caught looking in the fourth.
Paulson's been excellent with runners in scoring position. 3 for 4.
For the Rockies, again, early in the season have been very good, producing with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Big vacancy on the left side now. Paulson goes that direction quite a bit. These are difficult at bats, aren't they, Spilly, in that none of the Rockies probably have ever faced Cotham before.
You don't know what he has. You just read a scouting report that says his fastball is 90 to 94. He throws his slider. You get some tendencies, but even with the tendencies, it's not a predictor of what they're going to throw.
And Blake Doyle, I'm sure before each guy went to the plate and went over a quick scouting report.
I mean, a great example of was yesterday. Justin Grimm throws curveballs 89% of the time with 2 strikes. And what did Nolan hit in a 3-2 count?
Heater.
There's no way to predict these things.
Swung on and missed. And the throw to first will end the inning. So the Rockies will leave 2 on in the 6th inning. They continue to lead 1-0 on the banks of the Ohio River in the Queen City. Take a look at our first bank game recap. The Rockies with a 1-0 lead on an RBI groundout by Christian Adames. Jordan Lyles been sensational, and he's done it with about 11 pitches per inning. Dan Straley got the start. He went 5 innings. He pitched well also. The Reds were in their bullpen because Straley not fully stretched out. So here we go, 8-9-1 for the Reds. And pinch hitting will be Tyler Holt for Cotham. Pitcher hitting 8th in Brian Price's lineup. Lyles just 57 pitches in, and it's strike 1 on Holt. Curveball on the ground to second, and Adames throws to Ben Paulson, 1 out. And here comes Billy Hamilton, a ground ball to short, Hamilton's first time. Well, Billy Hamilton does everything quickly, so when he hit that home run Billy was referencing earlier, watch how quickly he gets around the bases.
The great Vince Scully says he's running it like they're going to change his mind.
Tough play, Arenado. Well, not really. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Nolan, I talked to him before the ball game, and he was excited about that. He was excited about the opportunity with Billy Hamilton at some point probably going to bunt. And he gobbles this one up, and it's not even close.
Hamilton couldn't have laid down a better bunt.
Perfect. Cozart is 0 for 2, a foul out and a ground ball to short. Easily Jordan Lyles' best outing of the year, and this ball sharply hit, and that one gets past Trevor Story. That'll be a base hit. That thing was scorched. How about the play he made in the 9th inning yesterday? You and I talked about that for a long time after the game. The best defensive play of the ball game yesterday. This thing was an absolute rocket. It was similar to what we saw in Chicago in the 9th inning yesterday.
Not a lot you can do other than just get in front of that as a fielder and take it off the body. A lot of the times the infielders believe they can pick it using their glove, and I don't blame them. If the ball's coming that fast, I'd step aside and try to use my glove.
Here's Pacheco with 2 outs, Cozart at first, and Jordan drives this to left field, and Parra is going to get to it quickly. They're going to stop Cozart at third, and now it gets away, and Cozart's going to score. Wow. On the short hop, it got away from Trevor Story. It hit his leg and shot about 15 feet away. What a bad break. And now it's 1-1. I would imagine you'd have to give Story an error on that.
I think I'm going to give Parra an error on that one. Slider just out over the plate. Pacheco jumps all over it. Parra does a good job to get to the wall and just spikes the throw to Trevor.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to have to go on Parra's throw.
The problem with that, and with Trevor Story, you have a backup fielder. If it's too low, the first fielder is supposed to move out of the way, and it becomes an easier hop for the trail fielder.
That's why they call it a double cut.
So even though Parra doesn't make a great throw to the first cutoff man, Adames is standing right behind him, and he would be able to take the one hop, which would make it an easier throw. That's also a communication problem between Trevor Story and Adames.
And now with first base open, the Rockies are going to pass on Votto and go right on right with Brandon Phillips. Just a terrible break. An error on Gerardo Parra. It is now official, and it's tied up the game at 1. intentional pass, puts Votto at first, Pacheco's at second, and Brandon Phillips a fly ball to right field and a ground ball to short. Story flips it to Adames to end the inning. An unearned run has tied up the ball game at 1 as we go to the 7th. Jenny, thanks much. A couple changes to tell you about in a 1-1 game for Cincinnati. They double switched Jordan Pacheco out of the ball game. The veteran Ivy Leaguer Ross Ohlendorf, big man, is on the hill, native of Texas, and Ivan De Jesus Jr. is at third base for Pacheco. Brandon Barnes, sack, bunt, and a strikeout in 2 plate appearances. He'll lead it off for the Rockies, and that's fouled back.
Well, if you're curious, watching Ross Ohlendorf with the old-timey windup, he started doing it in 2013 with the Washington Nationals. The reason why, he said it gave him good rhythm, and it allowed his arm to feel nice and loose, and he liked how the ball came out.
This is special place for you, Cincinnati.
This is where I've had my major league debut. It's really awkward sitting up here from this point of view.
It was a little different a few years back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got your first 2 big league knocks here also.
I did. Todd Coffey sprinted out of the bullpen to give up an RBI single to me.
He was in a rush to do it.
Yeah.
Todd would always sprint in. I never felt like that was the wisest thing for Todd to be doing.
Given his size and stature?
Yes. Just saying. Never a pretty sight.
He's a large human.
But also, I felt like, you know what, now the guy's fatigued and he's going to try to pitch.
Guy's exhausted.
Who's the guy that needed the old golf cart with the Cincinnati Reds hat on top? Barnes is gone.
Looking to come out to a game? There's always great Rockies ticket deals available. So bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the season.
Well, the Rockies have struck out 7 times in 6 1/3. Yesterday, they struck out 14 times but prevailed 2-0. Here's Adames.
I spent a lot of time with Ross Ollendorf as a member of the Players Union. And between Ross Ollendorf and Kevin Slowey, the two guys helped start up a new pension plan. It was these guys that, between Chris Capuano, Ivy League school guy.
Well, he was a Duke guy, close enough, right?
Yep. Kevin Slowey and Ross Ollendorf, they were in charge of the pension plan and health care. So they have a lot to do and have a lot of guys that in baseball are thankful to what they were able to help out and do for the other players.
Jay Bruce makes the catch, 2 outs. Bring up Tony Walters. Ollendorf, Princeton graduate. Tony Walters, who was waived by Cleveland and picked up by the Rockies. Heard that story. But remember, he was a high school sign. So Tony's only 23. It's not a guy that was kicking around the minor leagues for 10 years and has finally gotten an opportunity. He's just a puppy. Hit it to deep center his first time up, 0-2. Is that a TC Chen? He hit it twice.
Yeah, it's not golf. You don't get a stroke for that one.
No, we haven't been able to reference TC Chen in a baseball game in quite a while. Remember that when he contacted it twice coming out of a bunker? Got to count both of those.
No, I've done that several times.
Been a lot of bunkers. They wanted the high fastball. That certainly was a high fastball. Watch. He's made contact, and he made contact with the knob of the bat. Strike 3. 94 mile an hour on the inside corner. Good pitch. 1-1 stretch time in Cincinnati. Here's Arcuni Lexus look back. Both teams have pitched well. This ground ball brought home a run in the second inning for the Rockies. Christian Adames' first ribby of the year. Nolan started the inning off with a sharp single to left. That's all for the Rockies offensively, and this was just unfortunate with 2 outs, a double for Pacheco with Cozart at third. He was stopped, but then when the ball kicked away from Trevor Story on the short hop throw by Parra, he scored to tie the game at 1. That's where we stand right now. There was an error given to Gerardo Parra, so it was an unearned run.
On that play right there, Stu Cole's going to talk to Trevor and Adames tomorrow, or probably has already talked to them and said Adames is going to have to take that throw. If it's going to short hop the shortstop, the first cutoff man, typically that's the reason why you have the double cut.
Dangerous man, Jay Bruce. Good fastball up on the hands. It's 1-1 on Bruce.
Lyles has been very efficient with this fastball, has been throwing the cutter. We've seen a lot more sinkers today, and he's using his curveball.
Bruce doubled leading off the 5th inning and tried to stretch it to a triple, and Parra made an unbelievable throw from deep left center and a great pickup and tag by Arenado to nail Bruce. 2-2 on the foul ball. We were discussing earlier, and Mark was part of the conversation, that Jordan had struggled to throw first pitch strikes. Overall, the Rockies this year have improved from last year, but tonight 16 to 22 first pitch strikes. Two on Bruce, and he got him. Boy, what was that? That looked like it may have been the splitter that he learned from De La Rosa.
Well, it's up in the zone. It's probably not location. You can see Jordan shook his head after he threw that pitch because he got away with one.
It's not a splitter.
Oh, it's a slider.
It backed up.
Tried throwing a backdoor slider to Jay Bruce. It was up in the zone, but in a spot where Bruce couldn't handle it.
4 strikeouts for Lyles. Adam Duvall, ground ball and a line out. Duvall's got a 7-game hitting streak. This guy had 130 minor league home runs. Played collegiately at 3 different schools. He was at Western Kentucky, went to a junior college, then went to Louisville. And this is lobbed to Story for the 2nd out. Tucker Barnhart will be coming up the day after every Rockies victory. Get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. I'd like to tell you, as I give you the attendance, that, you know, it's a large crowd. This is so small it's a gathering. It's been the larger weddings. 12,777. Parra will get there, and another strong inning, efficient inning from Jordan Lyles. So we'll go to the 8th, still tied at 1. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By American Family Insurance, insure carefully, dream fearlessly. And by Volkswagen. Every street around Great American Ballparks got the name of a former Red great. Pete Rose Wade, Johnny Bench this, Joe Morgan that. Great history for the Reds. Jordan Lyles is going to come out. 7 terrific innings for Jordan Lyles. And how about this? He threw less than 80 pitches to navigate 7 innings, but he's coming out because he's due to lead off here in the 8th inning, and it's 1-1, which is a shame. If not for the miscue, I mean, if he went ahead and got Phillips as he ended up doing with traffic anyhow, you're talking about a 1-0 lead, and he's probably staying in the ball game. I don't think there's any question he's probably staying in to go to the. Well, you have Castro, so maybe I'll hedge my bet on that. But Jordan Lyles, bottom line, pitched a beautiful game.
He was great tonight, commanding the zone, very efficient, getting the ball on the ground, the occasional pop up, getting the strikeout. His only walk was an intentional walk to Joey Votto.
Ryan Rayburn is pinch hitting for him. He swung and missed at a curveball. He's never matched up with Ohlendorf before, and that's a good pitch.
Well, a situation like this, you want to use a pinch hitter. You want to use a hitter to give yourself as many opportunities to try to score in this inning. I know Jordan's pitching really well, but you need to score some runs.
One and two. Ohlendorf was in spring training primarily with Kansas City this year, and then he was released on March 23rd, and the Reds signed him on March 26th. He had only 3 appearances in spring training for the Reds. Made the club. Still a real good arm.
And this Reds team, imagine this, Drew. The day before opening day, Cincinnati Reds made 11 roster transactions.
Crazy. That's a whole lot. And another strikeout.
The 2016 Colorado Rockies Youth Baseball Camp at Coors Field, presented by Sports Authority, will take place on June 27th and 28th this season. Registration begins on May 8th for boys and girls ages 8 to 13.
One out, Gerardo Parra. Rockies striking out the last 2 days at a rate that they would prefer not to.
Not a good rate.
No.
No. That's putting it kind of.
Parra, 2 comebackers and a fly ball to left. And he's out on his front side. It's 0-1. Ross Ohlendorf's brother also pitched at Princeton. He was in the engineering school at Princeton. And a few years ago, Sporting News voted him one of the 3 smartest athletes in sports. That's a strike at 94.
Oh, I believe it.
Craig Breslow, left-hander, still pitching. He was on that list. He was number 1, actually. Myron Rolle, the NFL defensive back, was number 2. I think he was a Rhodes Scholar, if I remember right. And Ohlendorf was number 3. You want the fastball up.
I wasn't on that list.
I just saw the first 3. My assumption is that you were on that list, but as I said, I saw the first 3, not the first 300,000.
I think I make the top 300,000.
As I said, I would assume so.
Yeah.
You look like you're contemplating that.
Yeah, I think I've got to be up there in the top 300,000. I doubt it, though.
You're bubble guy.
Bubble guy. Fringe smart guy. Well, the Rockies starters the last 4 games have been quite impressive. 25 innings pitched. They've only had 13 hits against them. 2 earned runs, 22 strikeouts, 6 walks, and a 143 batting average. Good job, starters.
Looked like he held up, no swing. Trevor Story on deck. 3 hits for the Rockies, 4 for the Reds. That's low. Dougie's furiously typing away. What happened, Doug? You got up. Did you come up with something? You were checking the list to see if Spilly was in the top 300,000. Dougie's a mess right now. I think he found your name, and he's so excited that the headsets come off and knocked the glasses off.
Well, he was trying to find out, since I didn't think I was in the top 300,000. There's only been 18,701 major league players.
No, but all of sports. Remember, there was a football player in there. You got basketball. You have hockey. We have bowlers. We have polo players. Corey's saying emphatically that he is higher on the list than you are.
Come on, street smart.
Parra backs out. Dougie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off your game.
I do have what player number I am in the history of baseball. I'm number 16,326.
When you entered?
Yep.
Boy, that's a good pitch. That is now 4 strikeouts in the last 5 hitters. Actually, 5 strikeouts in the last 6 hitters for the Rockies. They're not even getting it in play all of a sudden. And we know this is something that has plagued them for years on the road. Story, a double in the 3rd inning. Hardest hit ball for a Rocky tonight. Just a baseball that was blistered to dead center field, and Hamilton tried to leap and catch it. It went off the top of his glove. Hit one of the seats, Trevor. That would be nice. Maybe did it. High and deep, right center field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. 2-1, Colorado.
Ask and you shall receive. He should have 10 home runs right now. We talk about the 2 homers that he lost at Coors Field. Being able to drive the ball opposite field. I've mentioned he had not been able to handle the pitch away from him. There's a ball off the plate.
I love when they
sit back and drive it.
Love when they do what they're told.
On cue.
Very next pitch. 2-1 Rockies. And Ohlendorf knew it.
That's loud off the bat. Not a lot of right-handed hitters have that type of power to hit it into that area right below the PNC power stacks.
Cargo hits a shot up the middle for a base hit. This is why Walt has always said he does not worry about Trevor Story, because the approach is the same, which is middle of the field, Spilly.
Man, you do not see balls being hit up there from a right-handed batter. That ball is blistered.
Man, when he hits them, they stay hit. LeMahieu smiling away, talking to Descalso. You hit him like that? No, I don't know. You hit him like that?
The previous team record for home runs hit by rookies through the end of April was 4. Brad Hopp did it in 2005, and so did Clint Barnes.
The rookie record for home runs in April was set a couple years ago by, at the time, the Cuban defector Jose Abreu. The Rockies came very close to signing. He had 10. Trevor, on the 18th of April, has 8. Pujols in his first year had 8. Great Carlos Delgado in '94 had 8. Ken Herbeck in '82 had 8. But again, he has the better part of 2 weeks to hit a couple more or go beyond that. Here's Arenado.
I can't think of a ball where I've seen a right-hander drive it that far to right center. That's a long way, Drew.
How about the ball he hit for the double? You know, folks have talked a little bit more about the strikeouts. He's striking out about 40% of the time. But guess what? He's still hitting over 300 with damage. And that has rattled Ohlendorf. He's fallen behind 2-0. Jumbo Diaz is up. Chad Qualls looks like he'll handle the 8th inning. It's like when you look in the bullpen, it's like guys couldn't buy a ticket, so they were looking through the chain link fence from afar, trying to see what's going on.
Darren Holmes peeking in through one of those little windows.
That's a strike, 3-1. Here it is. Qualls looking on and throwing a pitch here and there.
Darren Holmes in the corner.
There's Holmesy.
What do you think, Drew? 3-1. Move runner. They can even challenge Nolan right here?
No, I'm subscribing to your thought, which I agree. You want Nolan to swing the bat.
Exactly.
Not going, and it's fouled off. What a bomb by Trevor Story. We've said that 8 times this year. Ball 4. Now the Rockies have 2 on, and another opportunity for Ben Paulson. After that home run, a Cargo single up the middle and the walk to Nolan. And Ohlendorf had been rolling along. He retired the first 5 guys and he struck 4 of them out. And Brian Price is coming out, and he's going to go to Jumbo Diaz. Pitching change in Cincinnati. Trevor Story has given the Rockies the lead again, 2-1.
Oh, yes.
There's the man, Trevor Story. The dugout bar fencing is in the way right now, but Story, if you missed it, hit a long home run to right center field against Ross Ohlendorf a couple of minutes ago to give the Rockies a 2-1 lead. And now number 70, Jumbo Diaz, is in the game, an appropriate number for Jumbo to wear. He looks like a tackle, but he can bring gas with him on the hill. He throws very hard.
Throws 97 miles an hour, will work fastball, slider in an 89-mile-an-hour splitter. In case you're wondering, his first name, it's Jose.
So here's Paulson with Cargo at second and Nolan at first. Inside, ball one. And here's, by the way, we figured this may change. Cargo, it was just announced in the press box that roller he hit toward short, and Jordan Pacheco, that Jordan came charging and couldn't field. It was initially ruled an error. They've changed that to an infield hit. So Cargo has his 7th multi-hit game of the year. And this ball's driven well. Hamilton going back. Look it up. This one's gone. 3-run bomb, Ben Paulson. What a time for his first of the year. And the Rockies lead it 5-1. Was that ever belted?
Ben Paulson now 4 for 5, 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. He's got as good of a stroke on a ball down in the zone. You've seen him drive the ball opposite field. This one, he gets it, gets the bat head out in front of Jumbo Diaz's fastball and drills it out to right. Don't miss down to Ben Paulson. And he knew it right off the bat.
Not many things better than the old 3-run home run in the 8th. And this is hit sharply to Phillips. Brandon Barnes is thrown out. The Rockies with 2 outs go home run, single, walk, 3-run homer. And all of a sudden, they have a 5-1 lead thanks to Trevor Story and Ben Paulson. 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati. Very special guest every Tuesday on Twitter Talk Takeover, as some of the top names in sports take over the Root Sports Twitter account. So far this year, we had, who did we have last week? We had
Garrett Atkins.
We had Garrett. That's right. We had Addy last week. We had Hawk the first week. And tomorrow's Adam Ottavino, who continues to rehab from his Tommy John surgery. So make sure you tune in and tweet your questions for Otto tomorrow at @RootSports_RM as the Rockies take on the Reds. Trevor Story, just a monster shot. Just comical how far he hit that. And then Ben Paulson hit it in almost the same spot. 2 line shots. Chad Qualls with a 4-run lead here in the 8th inning. And the pinch, excuse me, in the 8 spots now, Ivan De Jesus Jr. He's playing third base. Came in the double switch a couple innings ago, and a fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
Well, not the greatest of numbers, ERA over 10, but what you want to see right here is him attack the batters. You know he's not going to walk anybody, allow the defense to work. And get the Rockies in for the 9th inning.
So Jordan Lyles goes 7 innings, allows the unearned run and just 4 hits in a terrific performance. Struck out 4, and the only batter he walked was an intentional walk. That was Joey Votto last inning, or 2 innings ago. Well, dating to last year, Ivan De Jesus is 0 for his last 28. 0 for 14 this year, and obviously his final 14 last year. That's a strike. Well, you always want to bring confidence to the plate, but it's hard to when you're in that kind of funk.
We've all been there.
It's part of playing this game. 2-2. That is going to be a strikeout, and De Jesus reaches. We've seen that happen now twice this year.
Not what you want to see on a strikeout. Good slider down, goes right through the wickets. De Jesus doesn't know right off the bat that it's gone through Tony Walters. Walters does a good job trying to get to the ball. He slides, but there's no chance.
Strikeout, wild pitch. Billy Hamilton at the plate. Nolan threw him out trying to bunt his last time up on a great play. And a strike. Well, this is where Qualls, you want him to do what he's done so well throughout his long career, and induce a ground ball. And obviously Hamilton's a guy you're probably not going to double up, but get a couple ground balls. Got Cozart on deck. Good block.
So far, I've seen Qualls' best sinker of the season tonight. He's getting really good downward movement with his fastball.
Look at his career. Almost 2.5 to 1 ratio. Two and 1.
Well, this is the almost the time that you want to see Billy Hamilton hit a pop-up. Good movement on the fastball. Hitters will call that a hip shot sinker. So the right-handed pitcher, Qualls, will throw the two-seamer and start it right at the hitter, right at his hip, and it'll run back over the plate.
That's a good pitch also. Bouncer to short, and the Rockies get the lead runner. Story played that well because he wanted to come get it, then he had to put on the brakes because of the topspin hop, and he made sure he got it out. When you're up 4, just get outs.
Get the out at second base. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices.
Cozart singled in the 6th inning. Got a 9-game hitting streak to begin the season. And this is in the air to Cargo. Two outs, and we'll see another pinch hitter. Looks like Scott Schebler. Now Walt wants a left-hander for Schebler. The pitcher spot's due up 3rd, so Walt's going to have to double switch this because you got Votto. Assuming you get Schebler, you have Votto leading off next inning. You have Bruce who'd be in the hole, so Reynolds will come in. And checking out of the game is Ben Paulson. So here comes Boone Logan, who's been throwing the ball very well. 2 outs, Rockies up 5-1. We're in the 8th. Inning, and Boone Logan's now aboard. You see Mark Reynolds, he's coming to the ball game as well. Boone Logan will be asked to get the pinch hitter Scott Schebler.
Well, and Boone is back to his old form. We've seen his fastball velocity creep back up to where it once was. The slider has been very sharp. Like to see it sharp against Schebler.
So Logan's ready to go, the former White Sox, Atlanta Brave, New York Yankee, and in his 3rd season with the Rockies. Slider, strike 1. That's what's been really good, his slider. And you're right, the velocity's been more 92, 93. Not where it certainly was when he was pitching for the White Sox, where it was in the upper 90s, but that's still pretty firm from his arm angle, isn't it? That's potentially playable. Nolan reaches, and his arms aren't long enough.
Well, and for Boone, being able to throw the slider to the lefties was where he was having a lot of trouble. Started last year. This year we're seeing him being able to command it a lot better. And for a lefty, when he faces lefty, it's primarily, it is almost 53% of the time fastball, 47% of the time slider.
usually when he's ahead like this, tries to take the slider off the outer edge. We'll see what he elects to do here. Tony Walters goes to the outside corner, and in a slider is swung on and missed. Walters scrambles. Good footwork by Reynolds around the bag. Nice job, Boone Logan. He gets the pinch hitter Schebler on 3 pitches. 5-1. We'll go to the 9th. Go to like 30 a year, and it was actually Huey this past weekend. Well, crickets.
Crickets. It's fine. I got crickets for you right here with Hoover coming into the game. 17 ERA. You want to see the Rockies add some runs?
Not good for the guy who has the only save for the Reds. What a different deal as you look at J.J. Hoover's numbers. He doesn't like looking at them. The whip's at 273. What a difference now for the Reds. Now, you wouldn't see Aroldis Chapman here because they're down by 4 runs. But in the past, with Cincinnati leading the last 6 years, you'd see Chapman, and that was no fun. You faced him once. What was that like?
All you hear is his chains. When he winds up, he wears a big chain. You hear it rattling around, and a ball looking like it's aspirin getting flung right by you. Luckily, he walked me.
Just take a hack?
I wanted to. I couldn't. I couldn't see it.
Couldn't get it started in time?
No.
One out, Tony Walters at the plate. Tony's 0 for 3. Sharp ground ball to first, hit a deep drive to center, and then he struck out looking. Takes strike 1 at 90. Chapman will come off the suspended list in early May for the Yankees. Talk about a formidable bullpen.
Oh man, Betances, Dylan Betances, Andrew Miller, and Aroldis Chapman.
So who gets the baseball in the 9th?
It's Chapman. Well, at this point right now, it's whoever Girardi wants to use.
Got a great stat on Chapman. 1-1 on Walters with the Rockies up by 4 runs. Chapman averaged 15.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is in his career, which was the best of all time. He averaged allowing just 4.77 hits per 9 innings. That's also the best ever. Here's the 1-2. 2-2. Since he arrived in 2000, or actually since 2011, 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, 100-mile-an-hour pitches. He's thrown 1,212 that have been recorded at more than 100 miles an hour. The rest of baseball, 1,010. Strikeout of Walters at a mere 94. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Who wants tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. Nobody's up in the Rockies bullpen. They're up 5-1, so it'll be Boone Logan, which was Walt's plan once he double switched for Mark Reynolds with the score up 4. Now it'd probably be different if it was a 2-run game. You'd probably have Jake McGee up. 2 or 3-run game even. 2 strikes on Reynolds.
I think those numbers with Chapman throwing over 1,200 pitches over 100 miles. There's a pitcher that's going to challenge that. Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard, through his first 2 starts, averaged, and he's a starting pitcher. Usually those guys are more marathon guys. He was averaging, I think it was 99.8.
So he's just below.
He was going tonight. Last I checked in the 6th inning, he'd given up only 1 run and was pitching again very well. He's aptly named Thor, his nickname.
God of Thunder.
That's what it feels like, I imagine, when the ball travels past you at 100. Reynolds fouls it off. Boone Logan in the bottom of the 9th inning. You'll see Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. 2 of the 3 are left-handed bats. You'll see the formidable portion of that Reds lineup. Rockies up 5-1. First of 3 here in Cincinnati. On the outside corner, strike 3. That was off the plate. Mark Reynolds didn't like it, but he's going to get ready to go play defense. Rockies need 3 more outs. Outs 25, 26, and 27. Trevor Story gave him a 2-1 lead in the 8th with a long home run to right center. And then a 3-run home run moments later from Ben Paulson. 5-1 Colorado. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink link to what's next. Starting pitchers tomorrow. De La Rosa coming off a very good performance. We'll have the baseball for the 4th time this year. And Alfredo Simon, who has struggled so far in 2016, will be pitching for Cincinnati. Boone Logan got a strikeout for the final out in the 8th inning. And he'll line up against Joey Votto here in the 9th. Votto tonight 0 for 2 and an intentional walk, and he takes a slider for a strike. And just in case, Jake McGee has gotten up in the Rockies' pen. Jake got the save yesterday in Chicago. 42,000 was standing. Talking to Nolan Arenado before the ball game. He said, man, it was electric. He said it was loud. And it's still, you've been in that situation many times. It may be mid-April, but it had the electricity of a late in the season game, especially with all of the attention the Cubs have received, how excited their fan base is. And they put a couple guys on in a 2-run game. They have big Chris Bryant at the plate, thinking he can walk off the Rockies.
Well, I mean, looking at the matchup for Joe Maddon when he saw the Rockies in early April, and you see that you're going to have Jake Arrieta and John Lester facing the Rockies. There's no way that he thought that he was going to lose a series at home. And that goes to show you how good pitching can beat good hitting, because the Cubs offense was the best in baseball at the time.
3-1, good pitch at the knees, 3-2.
It's amazing to me about Joey Votto. His splits, even against left-handed pitching, he's still as good as it comes. A 900 OPS against left-handed pitching.
He's just a great hitter, and he's a patient hitter. 3-2. How about his BP today? Was that textbook?
No, because you don't. It's rare. Joey Votto spent the entire batting practice, never once pulled one baseball.
Not one.
Never once hit a ball to the right of where the shortstop normally plays. He literally hit it from shortstop over to the left field side of the field.
There's career splits. Spilly was referencing. 3-2 on Votto, native of Toronto. Still makes his offseason home there. Sharply hit. Christian Adames, nice play, 1 out. R3 is how you score that again.
R3. Okay, got it.
The Rover.
Nice swing. Out. You see Christian Adames in the top right part of the screen, shaded right where the stats will tell you. Joey Votto pulls most of the balls in the ground right there.
Now, if he's on the dirt, that's a very difficult play to make. I mean, that thing
He's not making the play.
No, that's coming off the bat at 110 miles an hour, somewhere in that neighborhood. 1 out, Brandon Phillips, nothing for 3 this evening. Off the outside corner, that's a ball. Brandon. I think of two of the more creative second basemen in the game defensively. You think of Brandon Phillips, you think of Robbie Cano. Two and one. Reds have lost 5 of 6. However, they've been really good at Great American. 5-1 so far, which matches their best 6-game start. Park open.
Well, and for the Reds, the problem with their losses and with their ERA comes down to their bullpen. Starters for the Cincinnati Reds have been pitching very, very well. It's the bullpen that has been less than spectacular. And I think you kind of expect that. Cincinnati's done a pretty good job of moving the players to get some pretty good major league pieces. They knew that they're not in a window, so they had to trade some of their guys. Todd Frazier.
And it's one of the reasons, well, they traded Todd Frazier. It's one of the reasons they had a deal done with the Nationals for some prospects for Brandon Phillips. And he's a 5-10 guy, and he could nix the trade.
Yeah, he said no, and he loves playing in Cincinnati. And that should be a player's right. If you've been in a city long enough and you feel like you've become part of the fabric, you should have the choice to say yes or no. Chase Utley was a player last year with the Philadelphia Phillies who decided, you know what,
He waived it. Yep.
To go to the Dodgers.
And that, Philadelphia, he's been there forever. They're about year 3 or 4 of rebuilding after a great run. Here's another 2-2, 3-2. And the 10-5 reference is, if you're unaware at home, 10 years of service time and at least 5 straight years with the same club.
Yep.
And then you don't have to have a no trade clause. You can, that was bargained collectively many years ago. You can nix any potential trade. This ball's hit well. Parra on the move, leaps and makes the catch. Nice grab by Gerardo Parra for the second out in the 9th.
What's interesting about this baseball, there's times where a player will hit the ball with topspin. Brandon Phillips catches the baseball out in front, and even the ball flight, you can see that the ball is having an effect, like it's coming down towards Gerardo Parra. If Phillips backspun that baseball is off the warning track, and it's a double.
So here's Jay Bruce, strikeout, a double. He tried to stretch into a triple, and Parra threw him out. And a strikeout. So 1 for 3. Shift on for the Rockies with Bruce at the plate. The 0-1, and it's 0-2.
As we're talking about the Cincinnati Reds and possible trade candidates, Jay Bruce's name has been thrown out all offseason, and it will continue as long as he's playing well.
It's also in the last year of a deal, club option for 2017 for Bruce. Here's the 0-2, and that is pulled foul. Jay Bruce, when he was coming out of high school in Beaumont, Texas, was the National High School Player of the Year.
After his first week in the major leagues, we lovingly called him Babe Bruce.
He's looked like Babe Bruce on a number of nights. 1-2. Never rest easy. Walt Weiss pacing in the Rockies dugout. Colorado up 5-1. A strike away. How did he not swing at that? Two and 2 on Bruce. Whoa. Is that a foul tip? Strike 3, it was. Ball game over. A strikeout of Bruce on the check swing, and the Rockies win it 5-1 in the opening game of a 3-game set in Cincinnati. They use the long ball in the 8th inning. And there's the check swing, foul tip. Tony Walters, a good catch. They check it out at third. Eric Cooper says yes indeed. They said he went around. And the Rockies win it 5-1. What a terrific start to this 3-game set. The Rockies improve to 8-5. The Reds fall to 6-7. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. In a 1-1 game in the 8th inning, the kid had to hit a home run in a few days, right?
Well, you asked for one.
He absolutely blistered this ball to deep right center field. And then a couple hitters later, after a Cargo hit and an Arenado walk, Ben Paulson would go deep, and the Rockies win it 5-1, making a winner out of Jordan Lyles for the first time this year. Jordan pitched a beautiful game. Ross Ohlendorf goes to 2-2 as he takes the loss. The Rockies now 3-1 on this road trip, and it's great to see him shaking hands once again away from Coors Field. Again, the Rockies win it 5-1 tonight. Let's get you to our Denver studios. Here's Jenny and Huey.